Okay guys, the best meta tactic. What was the best meta tactic of 2023? It's a lot of contentions, but also it also depends on style. Although this is maybe like for like the 0.001%, but some of you may find the 4-3-3 fifth variation the best formation inside the game. But realistically, it's nowhere near the top tier formation. But there's a few. The first I want to go over is the 4-2-4, and tomorrow I'll be releasing the meta tactic setup, the best meta tactic setup, like a defensive to attacking range. Now 4-2-3-1, it definitely goes in there. It hasn't been nerfed since FIFA 23. It still works the same way. If anything, in some ways, maybe after Trivela meta, it kind of come back into being one of the best formations, because right now you don't really, it's more consistent technically to score outside the box with a finesse shot and a Trivela, as opposed to actually going with your striker and missing a clear 1v1 because of the way the game is designed. So maybe you can argue this is probably in the top 3 formation category. Yes, people didn't use it, but it wasn't because it wasn't good. People used it because they got bored at the game. I'm sure even you did. You got bored of playing with one striker. So 4-2-3-1 goes in there. There's a few other nominations as well. I think the 4-4-2, 4-2-2, any of those variations. In particular, the 4-2-4. That is mainly because of the 71 depth meta. The 4-4-2 is the best pressing formation inside the game with the 71 depth meta. In fact, that will be in my list tomorrow, formation if you want to see that as well. But the one that probably was the only other one that was maybe in contention, but now, so technically this won the formation of the year last year, if you remember. Technically could win the formation of the year again, because in FIFA 23 it was OP, and it still is OP now. The difference is it's banned on the professional scene. You cannot use the 3 or 5 back in the professional scene. So this would be one of the best formations, and to be honest, thankfully no one's speaking about it, because I'm telling you right now, this is still as good as last year. Maybe if not better than last year, especially for Germans, Trivelas, and the cutback meta. So maybe you can argue this formation is actually better than you think. But you didn't hear that from me. You heard that from someone else. But yes, if all the pros are using this, of course, everyone will flock like sheep and start following and start doing the same thing. But then the one that it has to probably go towards, which you probably guessed, is the 4-3-2-1. It's just a broken formation. I've talked about this so many times. You know, when you have possession of the ball, the way the formation, your formation goes up against the 4-3-2-1, it's really, really difficult to actually play against it. And when it defends in a 4-4-2, is what makes it more overpowered. Now, we're going to go over the entire tactics and instructions. We're going to go through the entire slots as well. So, the 4-3-2-1. We're going to start first on the instruction, which is kind of more important. It depends. If you're playing this in defending in a 4-4-2, all you got to do is you just got to put one of these players on cover wing. So let's say Lorente. So you want him to become a right mid when you're defending out of possession, and then just come back in defense on this player, and then you put both these players on cover center, and you put both these players on stay forward. Now, all that's going to happen is these two will stay forward. They'll play in 2 strikers together. Lorente will go right mid when you're defending, and then Smith will go left mid when you're defending. So that is how you make it into a 4-4-2. Now, to be honest, what I found is a lot of lower tier players, and I would say Division 10 to about Division 4, they prefer playing with a 4-3-2-1 naturally without defending in a 4-4-2. Why? It's because they find that 3 centre midfields in the middle, they defend better. With 2 centre mids, if you commit 1 centre mid forward, you're in big trouble. So that is just the main thing. We're going to come back to this in a second. These are probably the best tactics overall, I would say. I would say a very neutral width. But again, I would say as well, there's a few things I want to mention that will depend as well. If you're watching this and you're a pro player, or if you're watching this and you're an elite player, or if you're watching this and you're a casual player, there's a few different things. My favorite variation was Anders. Like, if I had to choose not mine and I had to choose someone that I liked Anders' 4-3-2-1. To be honest, all very similar, but I just like Anders' layout. The depth, now you could of course go to 71 depth. Has it been nerfed? Theoretically, no. It has been, well, theoretically yes, it has been nerfed, but in actual fact and reality, no. It's just really on the wider areas. Maybe you can find it not being as bad, but it's still probably one of the most effective formations inside the game to press the ball. If you're going to press though, make sure you actually play this in a 4-4-2. So remember I said to you, Llorente goes right mid, Smith goes left mid. Make sure you play this in a 4-4-2 if you want to use 71 depth. I would always recommend a 6 depth. Now this is what you'll see on the pro scene. Sometimes you'll see 2 4-3-2-1s, one with higher depth and one with a more neutral, like a 50 depth, 60 depth. So they actually switch between those two, and actually a lot of pros are doing that. So that's a quick tip. If you really love the 4-3-2-1, most definitely set it up where you got one that's more attacking and one more that's more defending. That's like a nil guide's top tip for you if you just use that formation most of the time. But play, I would say long ball is probably the better for the masses here we're talking about. But balance overall the better one, because with long ball sometimes players make too much movements going forward. But a lot of the top tier players, the pro players, use the L1 button to supplement the runs going forward. Because when you win the ball, let's say with your cam or your centre mid in this case, these players, they don't really go forward unless you press the L1 button yourself. So the idea is supplementing the movement, not relying on the game, not saying, oh, has this guy got high medium work rates? Is this girl got low medium? Is she going to run forward? Is he going to run forward? No, that's irrelevant. Don't worry about that. Focus on doing it yourself. That is how you become a top tier player. It's pressing the R1 to bring a player close and then want to push a player going forward. Direct passing, I'd probably say, although I'm more of a forward runs guy myself, and thankfully now more and more people are actually understanding how important forward runs. See, the problem is with this community, a pro has to open their mouth for all the masses to be like sheep and start following and start flocking along. That's basically how it works. If I say something, they won't really listen. But that's a benefit of society. But direct passing, yes, all the pros use it. I actually do prefer direct passing on this formation though in particular. I don't really play old gen anymore, or very rarely, but old gen I much prefer forward runs. But I think direct passing for the 4-3-2-1 and the cutback meta, this basically is the best for cutback meta. It's the best for the Trivela and the finesse meta because of these players, and depending on how wide they are staying, or even you can put like Hansen there and do Trivela with a centre mid. It's still effective like that, and the power shots, and also the cutback meta because you've got 3 strikers inside the box. And then also, if you're just playing naturally, because with 3 strikers, and this is basically this is not a 4-3-3 with wide players. This is a 4-3-3 with a narrow setup with 3 players in the middle. It gives you that numerical advantage over like a 2-back, or at least a 3 versus 3 against a 5-back formation. So even if you're just playing normally and you're just trying to get the ball to the striker and trying to create a chance, trying to create a goal, it's the best formation. So it encompasses both normal gameplay, Trivela and the finesse shot spam, power shot meta, and just general gameplay, even if you're a possession-based player or whether you're playing counter-attack. So it really does suit all those playstyles, as opposed to a 4-2-2 where you're stuck with 1 strike up front, or even worse, you're with a 4-3-3 when your wingers are just so wide apart. Unless you have the intuition to bring them forward and the knowledge of when to do that, you will struggle. Now the width, you can see this got all the way down to 1, and to be honest, you should actually try 1. If you can make this team as narrow as possible in the narrow passage, especially if you like possession, it's a really good beneficial thing. What I like to do is use hug the sideline so the fullbacks are wide as possible and the rest of the team is narrow inside the middle. That way I can tack directly down the middle. But if I trigger one, the fullbacks going forward, I then have that support as well. So you can actually use 1 width. You'll be genuinely surprised how good it is. I remember sometimes it's a bit of sometimes people worry too much. Remember, 1 width, it's not going to change. Your team's not going to be like this, okay? This is 100 width and this is maybe 1 width. You're not going to notice that much of a difference, but it's narrow enough for you to notice it. Corners and free kicks as you want to. Now, the main thing in any formation, whatever variation you use, is this guy's got to be on stay back. The centre mid, the central centre mid, I know some players like this player to go forward. In my opinion, I would advise against it. You need 1 CDM here. That is the most important thing, okay? Whatever you want to do with these guys, you can leave them unbalanced, or whatever you want to do is completely fine. The next issues are left back and right back. Now, it depends on how you play it. It depends on what side you want to attack. I've already gone over my 4-3-2-1 tactics, so I'm not going to really go over it again here. But the player that you want to go forward, make sure this someone that's got high work rates, in my opinion. Go back and forward equally as well. And then what you do is, on this side, you just put this player on stay back while attacking. So this way that I will do it. Now, let's say theoretically you're going to say to me, Neil, hang on. If you put this player on stay back and cover center, how is that going to defend in a 4-4-2? Then all you got to do is switch it. So this time you can, for example, put Rapinoe. You put her, and by the way, you know her stats. There's only 10 other players that got above 85 rated stats all around like hers. You know that. And you're talking about the R9s, the Eusebios, and all these top tier players that only have better stats than her. But anyway, we'll talk about that another time. So like you just basically switch it on the other side. You just basically switch it, and then you put Neymar on cover wing, and now Neymar's going to be a left mid when you're defending. Rapinoe is going to be a right mid, and you get the two central players, and then you put these players on stay forward. So do you understand now? So that's why I want you to learn this formation, understand it yourself. You make your own tactics yourself. But that is probably the most meta formation inside the game. Maybe on a higher level, using hug the sidelines. I think the extra striker is also insane, but you didn't hear that from me either. I'm not really going to go over that. But I would say this is probably the best formation all around. Unfortunately, it's the only formation that's working, that's viable on the pro scene. Every single professional player is playing this. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. They gave you a bit of an insight, the best formation. Tomorrow we'll have a video on the best defensive layout, attacking, ultra defensive, etc, etc. The best rank 1 tactics that will be coming out tomorrow for those of you that really want to improve your level. But anyway, guys, if you want to get better, don't forget you can come join my FC series, FC24, my FC24 school, should I say. Patreon.com/NilGuys. Link is down below in the description. If you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund my Nil Guys guarantee. If you want to start 2024 on a good level and at a good high rate, you can of course do that. Good learning as well if you want to make the most of your holidays. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you tomorrow's video. Peace out and have a wonderful new year. If I don't speak to you before then, peace out.